drop the nets.
At midnight, along Europe's rivers, headlights cut through the mist. Nets dip into water that glows faintly under the moonlight, pulling up creatures so fragile they almost disappear in the air. They are worth more than gold, more than caviar, yet banned to catch. Every kilogram sold could mean prison, and still, they vanish by the millions smuggled in iceboxes, hidden in luggage, flown halfway across the world to become unagi, the luxury no one dares to question, because behind every These are glass eels, the newborns of the European eel. Anguilla anguilla, barely 5 centimeters long, transparent as a tear, drifting from the Sargasso Sea to the rivers of Europe after a journey of thousands of kilometers. They should have been the promise of a new generation.
Doucement, descends le filet. Fais attention au courant.
Instead, they became contraband. Every winter, as tides retreat, hundreds of small boats scatter along the French and Spanish estuaries, lowering fine mesh nets into the cold, dark water. The catch glimmers for a moment, then disappears into plastic tubs filled with brine and ice. In a single night, one fisherman can earn what he normally makes in a month. The temptation is impossible to ignore. Officials estimate the black market trade now exceeds 3 billion euros a year, making it the most profitable wildlife crime in Europe.
The illegal wildlife trade represents an astonishing black market, generating up to 3 billion euros per year.
The true scale of the illegal wildlife trade in Europe is staggering. 3 billion euros per year.
The irony is brutal. Catching them is illegal, not because they're dangerous, but because they're disappearing. Populations have collapsed by more than 90% in the last 4 decades. Pollution, dams, and overfishing have blocked their ancient migration routes. In 2010, the European Union banned commercial export, hoping to give the species a chance to recover. But the ban only drove the trade underground. Where legal markets closed, criminal ones bloomed, fueled by the insatiable demand for eel farms and sushi restaurants in Asia. Tonight, hidden under the fog of the Gironde River, a man named Pierre pulls a narrow mesh net through the shallows. He's 42, a fisherman all his life, but his license no longer allows this catch. Still, he can't walk away. "I don't want to be rich," he says. "I just want to survive the winter." For men like him, the math is cruel. Diesel prices rise, fish stocks shrink, and one bucket of glass eels can sell for 5,000 euros. In rural towns where factories have closed, the river is the last employer left. They work in silence. No lights, no engines. Only the crunch of boots on wet sand and the faint hiss of the tide. By dawn, the tubs are loaded into vans with false panels, bound for refrigerated warehouses inland. From there, the route splits some through Portugal, others through Belgium. The eels are packed into oxygenated plastic bags, layered in ice, labeled as frozen seafood samples. Within 48 hours, they arrive in Hong Kong, alive. Each bag may hold thousands of individuals, each worth a few euros at the source, multiplied tenfold on arrival. Once in Asia, they'll be grown in aquaculture, ponds, fattened, and eventually sold as premium unagi. A single dinner in Tokyo or Shanghai can trace its origin to a smuggler's net on a French riverbank. But the diners never know and perhaps never care. For them, it's just flavor, nostalgia, luxury. For the eel, it's extinction priced by the plate. Europol calls it the silent crisis. In 2023 alone, more than 1 million glass eels were seized in raids across Europe, hidden inside suitcases, shampoo bottles, even printer cartridges. Authorities admit that for every one they intercept, 10 more get through. It's not just a story of greed. It's also a story of neglect. Scientists have warned for decades that the eel's decline signals a broader sickness in Europe's rivers, clogged by dams, poisoned by runoff, warming too fast for young larvae to survive. Yet governments struggle to balance enforcement with empathy. On one side, environmental law. On the other, men with no alternative income. Arresting them treats the symptom, not the cause. And every winter, the same nets return to the same shores. We are the last generation to know these rivers alive, says marine biologist Elisa Rossi. If the eel disappears, an entire ecosystem goes with it. The fish that feed on them, the birds that migrate with them, even the myths built around them. But memories don't stop smuggling. In a warehouse near Brussels, customs officers cut open a foam cooler. Inside, rows of plastic bags shimmer like liquid glass. Each movement inside the bag is a life about to vanish into a market half a world away. Some chefs have pledged to remove wild eel from their menus. Others quietly keep serving, claiming farm-raised origins that trace back to smuggled glass fry. In the fine print of luxury, truth is negotiable. When asked why they risk everything, one smuggler simply said, "Because someone out there will pay." In the shadows of supply and demand, morality dissolves like salt in water. It's easy to condemn the fishermen, harder to question the appetite that fuels them. The problem isn't only on the riverbank, it's on our plates, in our wallets, in every bite we refuse to think about. Under the surface, the river keeps flowing. Only now, it carries ghosts millions of glass eels that will never grow, never return, never be seen again. What remains is silence and the faint glimmer of something lost. If this continues, Europe's rivers will become museums of absence, beautiful, clean, and empty. The luxury that once shined on dinner tables will have erased its own source. The question isn't whether we can stop it, it's whether we care enough to try. Because every time we look away, another generation vanishes into the cold, invisible tide. A chef slices through a fillet of grilled unagi, steam rising in slow motion, cut to black. The narrator's voice lowers. This is the taste of extinction. Now, discover the glass eel underworld, a story of greed, survival, and the thin line between hunger and crime. But while Europe battles to protect what's vanishing close to home, on the other side of the world, another hunt unfolds under the cover of darkness, not for survival, but for fortune. Night erases the horizon. The sea is a vast black field where sound vanishes and time stretches thin. Somewhere beneath that darkness lies a fortune not in gold, but in flesh. The question is simple. How does one night at sea become more than $1 million? The answer rises from the deep. Squid swift, intelligent, born of shadow. They travel in silent waves, appearing without warning and disappearing just as fast. To find them is not luck. It is discipline, instinct, and a hunter's patience. A vessel cuts away from the Peruvian coast, engines churning against the swell. Captain Herrera stands at the helm, his gaze set on the water the way a seasoned tracker reads Earth. He has no illusions. The ocean gives nothing freely. Below deck, men prepare in silence. Boots tighten, gloves pull firm. Metal rings, ropes, coil, machines test their growl. Every movement is practiced, not a word wasted. The ocean listens, and it does not tolerate arrogance. Then with a single command, the night changes. The ship's floodlights ignite, turning the sea into a glowing arena. Light the oldest lure of the deep. Every creature who hunts by instinct rises to meet it. Squid ride the darkness upward, following smaller prey drawn to the glow. They remain cautious, circling at the edge of sight, waiting to decide whether to attack or vanish. The crew waits just as still. Inside the wheelhouse, sonar pulses. Beep, beep, beep. Tiny flickers on the screen. Possibility. Captain Herrera watches closely. These subtle shifts mean everything. The difference between abundance and failure can be a single wrong decision. When the signal strengthens, the order comes sharp and fast. Cables unspool in controlled fury. Dozens of baited lures plunge into the abyss. The deck crew leans out over railing, senses sharpened to a knife edge. Then, tension. A pull from below. A force that confirms the presence of life rising in numbers. The men brace themselves. The ocean has begun to answer. Hauling begins. Every meter of retrieval is a contest. If the cables snap, the entire haul is gone. If the mechanism fails, someone could go overboard. The men plant their feet. They do not flinch. The surface erupts. Squid burst through the foam, bodies flashing like living lightning. Ink clouds explode across the deck. The night becomes motion, shadow, and adrenaline. The crew works through chaos. Tentacles whip with startling strength. Boots slide across ink-slick steel. One wrong step can mean crushed fingers or worse, a fall into the black. But these men move, as if controlled by one mind. The net empties. The deck is covered in life. The air smells of salt, metal, and something almost electric. The men do not celebrate. They just breathe heavy and relieved. The night has paid out. For now. But victory has no pause. Squid spoil faster than nearly any ocean catch. Value begins to die the moment the creature leaves the water. They have less than half an hour before quality collapses. The deck shifts from battlefield to factory. Water jets blast ink away. Hands sort, weigh, and move with mechanical precision. Below deck, freezing systems thunder to life, dropping to negative 40 degrees Celsius to lock freshness cell by cell. Labels mark grade, size, and condition. Premium specimens command far higher prices. A small tear, bruise, or delay can mean thousands lost. Every decision on deck echoes in bank accounts back home. When the boat returns to port, trucks wait like arteries connecting sea to land. Processing plants take over trimming, cleaning, packaging, all under relentless cold. The chain must never break. From there, the squid travel the world. Tokyo, Seoul, Barcelona, New York. In one place, they are delicacy. In another, prestige. In every place, they are money transformed into flavor. In Tokyo, chefs slice squid into translucent ribbons, arranged like frozen silk. Diners pay by the bite. In Paris, black ink becomes velvet sauce poured over white rice. In New York, squid is charred golden and served beneath chandeliers. The contrast is stark. On one side of the world, men haul life from storm and darkness. On the other, soft hands hold polished chopsticks. The ocean feeds both, but the struggle is invisible. "12 tons, one night, over $1 million. A perfect haul, rare and hard-earned. But the ocean remembers every gesture, every net, every light. It does not remain generous forever." Squid populations shift quickly. Their movements respond to temperature, current, and hunting pressure. Push too hard, and the resource collapses. Then silence returns, and no amount of light will bring them back. Sustainability is not a slogan aboard these ships. It is survival. Fishermen know that if the ocean empties, they lose not only work, but identity, heritage, and history. The sea has shaped their lives longer than any government or market. And so each voyage carries a silent promise. Respect the ocean, and it may offer another night like this. Disrespect it, and the future will be written in silence. This is not only fishing, it is endurance against darkness, machinery, exhaustion, and the unknown. It is the oldest human story, facing the deep and returning with something to live on. This is Fishing Documentary. If the tension of the hunt called to you, subscribe and step aboard the next journey. The sea has more stories, and it is never finished speaking.